Electricast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Missing the Point, and it's our favorite time of year. The fall leaves have turned, and it is officially September, which means it's not only time for the NFL to return, it's time for us to predict the records of each team in the NFL. According to conference, I have the full Missing the Point crew here. Our teeth are brushed, our assholes are scrubbed, and we are ready for the 2024 NFL season. Ladies and gentlemen, I have on this year, we do switch every year. So last year, Mike and I, Mike Marcangelo, who I have here as my teammate and co-host, were the NFC team. Our predictions led us to a victory. My first as a participation person. Mike's fourth. He's holding up a 4 right now as if he's Steph Curry and they've changed the rules. I'm excited. I love the prediction game show every year. Arguments ensue. But as we know, the NFL is always crazy. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Over on our rival team, who are now taking the NFC predictions over, we have Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan and the real BK, Bob Kelly. Guys, just to the two of you, how are you going to stop the bleeding? I mean, you got to win this one. This is a must-win year for you. Do you have any novel strategies that you're coming at us with to try to dismantle this? Because quite frankly, if me and Mike win this year, we're going to have to split up the teams again. You know, like that's what's going to have to happen. So like, I don't know, like pride, playing for pride at this point.
I'm just having fun at this moment. Like it's been over for a while.
I'm just here to have fun. I'm just here to have fun, everybody.
Been over for a while.
Bobby, you got a novel strategy to beat your old nemesis? Your oldest nemesis, I would say.
You mean best fucking friend, teammate?
Best friend and oldest nemesis. I don't mean just in this game, Mike. I mean like since I met you guys.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Bobby, anything? You got a new strategy?
We're just going with it. We're going with the flow, man. That's what we do. That's what me and Rayshawn do. We just go with the flow. No, right. I hope everything works out.
You know, it sucks because I think I'm in a position. I was thinking about this the other day. I was getting bitter about my teammate because I think I'm in a position where, like, because Mike's been the common denominator on these winning teams, I can't really earn any credit for my victories by being on his team. Even though, like, I think I made some decent points about the Detroit Lions last year that turned out to be pretty true, and the Atlanta Falcons that turned out to be not true at all. So, you know, all I really do is even myself out over here, which sounds like I'm masturbating, but I'm not. It's mental masturbation, guys.
Mental masturbation.
Mental masturbation. Listen to Missing the Point. It's mental masturbation. We should tell Craig to put that as the new slogan on the website. Mental masturbation. Masturbation for your ear holes. All right. We're going to get right into it.
That sounds a little Rick and Morty-ish right there. Masturbation.
I've been watching a lot of that lately, to be totally honest with you. It's my going to bed show lately. So without any further gilding of the lily and no more at all ado, I present to everybody for your listening pleasure the Missing the Point prediction game. So we're going to kick it off with the NFC team. We're going to go north, south, east, west, like we're wicked witches. Guys, I'm going to start you off with my hometown division, the NFC North. I'm ready to get my feelings hurt. Go ahead.
All right. So
you take it. You take it.
Yeah, I'll read what I have first, and then like I said, you'll say what you had. So can I
ask real quick? I'm so sorry. Can I ask real quick? Do you guys know each other's records going in?
Bobby knows mine. He didn't send me his either. He just knows mine.
Interesting. A single blind study. Okay, great.
Also, just real quick, not to derail this whole thing, but are we doing the one game within our prediction, or like we did last year, or the 2 games that we did every other?
Oh
game?
Yeah, you're right. I should do a little recap of the rules. Sorry, bad hosting. I was just enjoying the sound of my own voice. The rules are as follows: we each predict the records for our respective conferences. We have to. Yes, I think it was better. Do you guys think it was better when we were one game within? It just made it a little tighter. I think. You get it if you predict, for example, the rule being if you predict, for example, 9 wins for a team, if they win 10 or they win 8, you get the point. We're going to go by conference. We're going to, at the end, pick our defensive player of the year, coach of the year, rookie of the year, offensive player of the year, and rookie of the year. I might have said rookie of the year twice. So I think that's it, right? It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. If there's anything I'm missing, leave it in the comments. So, yes, sorry, guys. NFC North, take it away.
All right, so I put Detroit as going 12-5, winning that division. So Detroit going 12-5, Green Bay going 11-6, Chicago going 9-8, and then Minnesota going 6-11.
Okay.
I've had all those.
Can we
I had
talk?
all those within. I had all those within one game, so we can take that. We'll take that and run with it. I like it.
Okay, great. I'm gonna need a breakdown of your reasoning, Ray, why you think each of these teams are gonna do what they're gonna do. Bobby as well.
Yeah, no. So as far as Detroit, I mean, I think that it's been a running joke on the show about when they were going to finally become good. Mike's take for 2020 has finally come to fruition about them being a formidable opponent, and they're just in an era where they've suffered long enough, and now they are starting to put the pieces together to be in contention. Doesn't mean that they're going to get to the Super Bowl and actually win it, but they're definitely in a place where they can be in contention to make the playoffs. So Goff has gotten much better. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 10 receiver. The defense has gotten better.
Top 5, I'd say.
Yeah, even top 5, right? So they've done really well. As far as Green Bay, I think that they're probably riding high off of what they did last year. Obviously, it ended badly, for them in San Francisco. But I think that they come in with more confidence. I think that wide receiver core gets a little bit better, even if they were last year. And the same thing with the defense. I think that Jordan Love's confidence improves as well. We spoke about this the last show we was together, but I got y'all going 9-8, and that's because I think Caleb Williams comes out the gate swinging, and I think that he's put the world on notice immediately, saying like, "Hey, I'm not a guy, but I'm the guy." And I may not get it this year. The fuck, I'm coming, and I think that I'm high on him. So I think that he comes out the gate swinging, and that's what I think. They win their 2 or 3, first 2 or 3 games, and then may tail off a little bit because he's a rookie. But
it happens to rookies. I mean, honestly, you're painting an ideal picture for me. 9-8 is the number I have in my head as a Bears fan, because I just think that I would qualify that as a successful season.
Right.
Just there's a contextual scenario where we might sneak into the playoffs with that record. Probably not.
I came into this very logically this time, because sometimes I'm a little irrational with how I think, but I feel like I came into these picks this year very, very rational. I'm sure Mike.
So you do have a cunning plan to defeat. You just didn't want to bury the lead. I like it.
Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But and then Minnesota, I think, just between the injuries and then just not how much they lost in the offseason, I got them going 6-11. So
what about the Pack show?
Oh, I said Green Bay was going 11-6. I had them in the second division. So
Bobby, what do you have to say about my perhaps ill-fated NFC North in competition? I would say with the Steelers, Bengals, Browns, and Ravens for being the toughest division. I'd say we're getting there, right? You seem to have the same sort of high win percentages as Ray does.
Yeah. So, but the only one I differ on is the Packers. I'm not as high on the Packers as a lot of people are. I think
Music to my ears.
I just think a lot of people are high on the Packers because of that victory against the Cowboys last year, but that was a no-show of that Cowboys team. So I don't give them as much credit as everyone else does for that win, because I take it away from the Cowboys. Because it was just such a shellacking. And I feel like that's what everyone is so high on Jordan Love, because he tore apart that defense, but that defense just didn't show up for that game. So I'm not as high on them.
I think the fact that Jordan Love was there at all, though, if they were ahead of schedule, wouldn't you say?
Can I just ask you a question, Bobby? So if the Cowboys beat the shit out of the Packers, would you say that, it doesn't really count that much because the Packers didn't show up? Or would you just be still jerking your little Dallas Star all over the place? I think
I'd be jerking
you are really. I think you are really high on the Packers, but you just can't admit it because you're a Cowboys fan.
No, that's not the case. No, that's not the case at all. I completely agree with your Bears take, though. I think the Bears get out hot and heavy. Because the beginning of that schedule isn't anything to come right home about. The end of it, though, the end of that Bears schedule is pretty tough. So I think 9-8 is a really good spot for them.
I'm okay with being front loaded with easy games for the Chicago Bears historically, especially the Matt Eberflus Chicago Bears, because I think we've gotten the past 3 seasons. I think we've gotten better as the season has gone on. I think we're always historically like a decent winter team for obvious reasons. So yeah, I'm fine with that. And I have a lot of key games in mind to win for the Bears this year. And one of them is the Tennessee Titans opening day game, opening Sunday game. It's like a borderline must win. I've never seen a more must win scenario for like the first game of the fucking season, to be totally honest with you, because it's going to be like all eyes on Caleb. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, everybody's going to be like, what does this guy got? You know, it's going to be a conversation that people are having. I'm going to have to start filtering this shit out. I'm not used to this, right? Like the number one overall pick sort of media pressure, but I do appreciate what you guys are saying. I really liked your assessment. I think we're all in agreement, and we touched on this a little bit last week. There's weirdly bad vibes over there in Minnesota, right, Mike? I feel like there's I would generally be in the same place as these guys with these NFC North predictions, to be totally honest with you. I might take a game off the Packers out of spite, but where do you stand on how they've come out?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're reasonable picks. I think the Packers are going to be they're going to push the Lions to have like the best record in that division.
Those are going to be fun games, you know. Like, yeah, those interdivisional games are going to be fun.
I think that if you're a Bears fan, like, you should feel really good about 9-8. Like, that's where you want to be, because you could just win a game that you're not supposed to and actually win 10 games. But either way, it's an improvement over last year. And the whole thing that you're looking at this year is that you just don't want Caleb Williams to be the reason that you lose too many games. Yeah. He's probably going to lose you one because he's a rookie, which is normal. But I think people are going to be really impressed with him, midway through the year. So I think we've all been counting out the Vikings for the last 3 years, though. But one thing I would say is that their primetime choke artist is gone. I think they might have a better quarterback situation now than they did, obviously, last year, but maybe even 2 years ago.
That's putting shade in Kirk Cousins' name, huh?
Well, I think to that point, I think so. Listen, I liked JJ McCarthy. I think that we had talked about him being potentially coming here to New England when we did.
It sucks what happened.
So, it sucks for him, obviously, but I think Sam Darnold now is the starter there.
Correct.
And there's no planet. I don't care. There's no planet. There's no where that Sam Darnold is better than Kirk Cousins. Now, we know where Sam Darnold was supposed to be coming out of USC in 2018, but as you said on live TV, the man's been seeing. So he saw ghosts against us, but he's been seeing ghosts his whole entire career in the league. Now he has not had a Justin Jefferson to throw to and a TJ Hawkinson to throw to, so maybe that changes his career. But I don't see them turning it around with him at quarterback for this season. Once again, I think McCarthy coming back. Hopefully he finds health and they do well next season. But for this season alone, I think that they have to overcome too much in order to have a successful year, in my opinion. Anyways,
I just think as the QB of the Vikings 2 years ago on 3rd and 15, he knew what he needed and he threw it 6 yards. Like, I think Sam Darnold is going to be smarter in the pocket and with his decisions than Kirk Cousins. I still think six games is the perfect place to pick them, because they could win 7, but they're not going to win 8.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, forgive me if this is too meta. I feel like to make a Sam Darnold successful in a system that has good skill players, if you're taking the approach of like Sam Darnold still has these guys to throw to, so like he should be better in theory. Like, right. I agree with you, Ray, that I don't see it happening, because I think the mistake that the Vikings offense always made was they put Kirk Cousins in positions to have to win them games, as opposed to put their skill players a la the San Francisco 49ers or the Miami Dolphins. You know what I mean? And I think that like Kirk Cousins was just good enough in the regular season where they were like, all right, let's do that thing where he's got weapons, but our QB is going to win us the game. When there's kind of more meta examples now of like, you can have a Deebo Samuel and a Brandon Ayuk and a Christian McCaffrey, and it's like, yeah, that's a hell of an offense. You know what I mean? I know they lost in the Super Bowl, they still got there, and like the conversations about Brock Purdy were what they were. I think we're entering an era where you can make a Sam Darnold an efficient QB. I just don't think that the Vikings are going to be able to retool their offense in one off season or half an off season, since they know that. And why would they? Why would you? Why would you retool your offense around a fucking Sam Darnold? Like, that would just be ridiculous. Plus, as much as the Vikings situation is one where, because there's a Justin Jefferson there, I would have wanted JJ to start right away. Because it's like, you know what, man, like, fuck it. Like, just go out there and play with your toys and we'll like figure it out next season. I think it's the way the Bears are approaching it. The Drake May approach is one that is so valid because of the players we've seen benefit from it. Everybody knows the list of the Jordan Loves, the Aaron Rodgers, like the players that the Patrick Mahomes, of course, that benefit from sitting behind a quarterback that's probably worse than them. And then because they get to sort of get comfortable in the NFL, learn the playbook, like learn the plan, like and embed themselves in the culture and like get to know everybody, it really benefits them. And I think like that's the attitude I hope that he takes, because you don't wish an injury like this on anybody, you know, especially not a rookie.
Right.
And I hope that this isn't like, I hope that this is a freak occurrence and we're not seeing like a Carson Palmer type situation emerge over the next few years. I hope I know he's in my division, but like I'm not putting that juju out into the world with a rookie quarterback myself. You know what I mean? So there you have it, folks. Just to confirm, you had the Vikings at how many wins?
6-11.
Okay, so 6-11 for the Vikings, 9-8 for the Bears, 11-5 for the Packers,
11-6.
11-6 for the Packers, and 12-5 for the division winners, Detroit Lions. I think those are. I mean, you know, I know we started off very civil, listeners, but I long may that continue, but I doubt that it will. Here we go, Mike. It's the AFC North. It's the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers.
Oh my!
I would love to hear your thoughts. Let's start with the team that won the division last year, the Baltimore Ravens. You always have controversial opinions about the man who seems to lead that offense.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah. By the way, I'm doing really well. Thanks. Thank you, Dave, for asking. Really appreciate it. It's great to be here. Love to be a partner. 5-0. That's what we're gonna go. You introed everyone besides me. Actually, you introed everyone about how much they fucking hate me.
No,
No,
that's
he
not
did.
true.
He introed you. He did.
No, that's not true at all. I said I'm here with my teammate, Mike Marcangelo.
Yeah.
I said that.
I'm sorry. You gave everyone else a chance to speak besides me, so I feel a little hurt right now.
Mike, I've never known you to have a problem to carve out your time in that arena. To be honest with you, it's a credit to you.
The AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens had they've ranked like the first in the league in rushing the last the last 3 years. They got Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson is a regular season fucking beast. Like I said, he's the faster Dak Prescott. I have the Baltimore Ravens going 12-5.
Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit more of a zag than I was expecting, considering your usual approach to the Baltimore Ravens. But then it was kind of funny because you ended on 12-5, so you're actually taking a game away from them, despite all the lists of improvements from their.
I think the division got better. Specifically, I think the Browns and the Bengals will be better this year than they were last year, as long as they're healthy.
Yeah, I actually took 2 games off them from last year, and it was purely on a strength of schedule logic train. Their fucking schedule is nightmarish. They play every team at the wrong time. They have to hope for like a lot of luck. There's some swings in their strength of schedule that's interdivisional, because honestly, it's kind of hard to tell how good the Bengals are going to be. It's kind of hard to tell how good the Steelers are going to be, and it's kind of hard to tell how good the Browns are going to be. So like interdivisionally, but if you take them at their middle, all 3 of those teams, I think the Ravens are in for like a tough year. Additionally, counts, right? Like I just think the end of like how you see the team go out the year before. I do think this is stuff we should be thinking about. I know we all forget over the dirge of summer, but you start to remember, like, you know, which part of the hill they died on their quest, and it was brutal. It was brutal for them last year. So it's not to say they're not still a powerhouse of a team with a lot of good skill players. They're a team that I backed hard in fantasy football for the regular season, despite the strength of schedule problems, because these are just guys that just put up fucking numbers all over the field last year. I got yelled at by the Yahoo grading system for drafting Zay Flowers. I was like, what? Like, I was like, shut up, Yahoo. I was like, drafting Zay Flowers is always a good idea.
He's nice.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like, what are you talking about? So whatever.
BC alum right there.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's a tough division to call. I'm 2 games down from you because I just think it gives us a little bit more wiggle room on the 1 game up, 1 game down, because I think that they're more likely to win 10 games than they are to win 13 games. I don't know how fair that is, but
so I'll settle on 11-6.
11-6, just for the wiggle room. You know what I mean? Like just for the wiggle room, because I've kind of like maybe overrated some other teams in this division too. So we'll see. Maybe you'll have to. I need you to talk me off a little bit of a high win ledge for a couple of teams in this division. But guys, what do you think of our opening call of 11-6 for the Ravens?
I think it's tough to take a couple wins away from a team that brought in maybe the best rusher that we've seen in the last 10 years. I mean, it depends on if they actually stick to it this year, though. last year that was their undoing, is they went away from the rushing game when time mattered most. So, but for
You're right that
regular
it's a
season
very
wins,
the
it's
thing
tough.
that they did, that the way that they died. You're right that it's a very fixable problem. It's like maybe we don't have Lamar try to force a pass like he's Kobe Bryant in his farewell game, like in the fucking playoffs. Maybe we can just try to, just like he was just slinging. It's like where was this is not how you guys won all year. Just continue to do what you need to do. But I agree with you. I mean, it's just I just looked at that schedule and I couldn't find them. I couldn't find
Brutal.
13
Yeah, it's a
wins.
brutal schedule.
Ray, so do you agree? Are we like essentially two down on the Ravens yet again?
I'm in the middle because when I did this prep, thinking that I was AFC,
Thinking you were AFC.
yeah, hey, calm down, get off the high horse, buddy. Well, I had him at 12-5 though. I just think that just because of the adjustments, even though the challenge is there, I think that you do lose a game just trying to figure it out how to maneuver. I think early on they have a little bit of a struggle, and then they'll catch fire as the season wanes. But yeah, I mean, listen, in theory, it should work to have a guy like Henry behind you. Obviously, Andrews and Likely and Flowers have to be healthy. It's always the issue with health, right? That's across that's for any team, but especially for them because they're not always deep at the skill positions. But yeah, so 12-5, I think is doable. Once again, you said 11-6. I mean, I still think that gets that division one, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe because the expectations will be lower than it's ever been. Maybe they surprise some people come January. So we'll see.
All right, I want to talk about the Bengals next because at last show I said they had AIDS, and I still sort of think that they do. I think that there's a little bit of a large looming question mark over Joe Burrow's wrist. I don't like how they handled the sort of like news of that injury. Like they kept it very, 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 very quiet last season. There seems to be some dispute over if he should have played the amount that he played, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what's going on internally over there. It's a very closed door situation, which historically almost always wigs me out for teams prospects, to be honest with you, especially when it comes to injury. So I had the Bengals at 8-9 this season. They always historically start slow. And it's a tough division that they're playing in this year. And I'm really freaked out about Burrow's thing. Plus there's all that stuff with Chase. Like, I don't know what that's going to be. It's like all the ingredients. It's all the ingredients that you don't want in an offseason. Now, they might all turn out to be nothing burgers, but it's like all stuff you just don't want to hear, like bitching, wide receivers, mystery injuries, a team that historically starts slow. These are things that like, it's like if it was your team, wouldn't you be fucking terrified?
DK, I hear you. I understand what you're saying.
I'm only taking one game away from him from last year, just for the record.
Well, it's because Joe Burrow was out for like 8 games last year. So,
but that's what I'm saying. Are you sure he's going to be able to play 17 games?
Yes.
Not.
Yes.
Have you seen their offensive line?
It's a little bit better. It's not much better, but it's a little better. Their defense is also better, which is why I want to give them more credit. I will also let you know that I've been operating my picks for the Bengals without even factoring in that Jamar Chase may not play the first couple of weeks. So
everyone seems to be getting on board. Like all the holdouts are like kind of coming down like dominoes.
He's the only one that hasn't so far.
So
right.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the left tackle for the Niners signed today. So I think that was the last one, and like there was a lot of them, like a lot more than I think last year. It was like just Chris Jones. Everybody was like curious about what he was going to do, and then he missed the first game, signed, and then was a fucking beast. So it's like, all right, here we are. But you're right. I mean, he hasn't fucking signed yet. So like as of recording, it's hard for me to get him to double digits.
I had them at 11-6. You had them at 8-9. Can we just split it at? Can we please just go? I would love to lobby for 10-7, but I don't think it's going to happen. So can we do 9-8? Because it still accomplishes your goal of 8-9, and I think they're going to win 10 games.
Can we do like a quick exercise, just like a very, very quick exercise? Like we'll really rattle it out, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you all their opponents, and I need you to just say win or loss, and I'm gonna tally it to what you like, where you think they can get, because this is why I came out to 8 wins. But let's see what your opinion on it is. Patriots
win.
Sorry, I have to click my pen so it actually writes. Patriots win. Chiefs
loss.
Commanders
win.
Panthers
win.
Ravens
We'll split.
Yeah, but win. Yeah.
So win.
Okay, fine. One more win. That's okay. I couldn't find that one. Giants,
Win.
Browns,
They'll split.
Eagles,
Oh, I think the Eagles could fall off of fucking the rails, so I'm gonna give them a win.
okay. This is where we're differing. All right, Raiders,
Win.
Win.
Win. Win.
Ravens. This is their split loss. Chargers,
Loss.
Steelers.
Win. Or still split. So
Okay, I'll give it to them now. Cowboys.
win.
You're such a
Hey.
dick. You're such a dick. You're such a fucking dick. Titans.
Win.
Jesus.
Browns. We already split. Broncos.
Win.
Win.
And Steelers, we already split. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have been winning 12 games. And I've been winning 8 games.
Yeah. So can we just?
So let's call it
can-
10. So let's call it 10.
Let's call it 10.
Let's call it 10. We'll call it 10. I just it's the only fair thing to do, I suppose. Okay. 10-7. We had the Ravens. We agreed on 11-6. And now on to the Browns. I like the Browns. I like the Browns this year. It's not as dependent on Deshaun, we discovered. Or Nick Chubb, we discovered last season. They're talented.
Yep.
Their defense is good as fuck. If Deshaun, it's all upside with Deshaun and Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb can come back week 5 and Deshaun can, like, I don't know,
Be a little Watson-y.
look interested, like look like he wants to be there at all, like it looked like he wants to actually throw the ball to, like, weapons a lot of quarterbacks would kill for. Amari Cooper was 3rd in yards last year, I think, behind Zeke and CD. So come on.
Yep.
Like, Amari Cooper's fucking sick. Like, that, if Nick Chubb can come back, great. But, like, that running room,
They got Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I think they made improvements across the board. I think, like, some of their line moves I thought were good in the offseason. I think I'm going to give them one more win. I think I'm going to give them 12 wins.
Fuck.
Do you need to take? Do we need to go down?
No. I had them at 9-8. So
I actually had them at
See-
10-7, but then I started talking and thinking about them, and I was like, I'm going to give them one more.
Okay, I think that they could. I think 11 wins is far more likely than 12, but I also think 9 is in play. So I'm happy with 10-7 if you are.
Okay, 10-7. Okay, yeah, you're right. I got overexcited. Sorry.
You guys are so you're so meet right in the middle on everything. Good for you.
Just wait.
Yeah.
Wait till this one. Just wait till the Steelers. Just wait.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. I think their QB room is set up in a way that I think you could pretty squarely bet Justin Fields is going to see the field by probably week 6, I think.
Yep.
That being said, they drafted some skill positions, and I didn't recognize some of the names, which almost always means when it comes to the Steelers that they're about to be the greatest skill players we've ever seen. I think the Arthur Smith edition is a really positive one. It's one of those, like, you're not a good head coach, but he's always been a good offensive coordinator. And that's just like exactly what the Steelers need. The Matt Canada debacle of last year is over. They had to build a plan while flying it halfway through the season. And I think with Arthur Smith coming in, even though Warren's hurt coming into the season, I think I'm going to give Najee Harris in a real scheme, like, an actual chance. I'm going to give him like a legitimate shot to hit holes that are directly in front of him, which is something I've never seen him do. So we'll see. We'll see on them. The defense is legitimately good. It's legitimately good. It's going to be legitimately.
It got better too. It got better.
It was banged up last year too. Just for the record, with the 10-7 record and a banged up defense, possibly the best pass rusher in the league. I mean, come on. There has to be some sort of anti-Steelers bias going away when you see just the facts on the page in front of you. I'm giving them 2 more wins than last season. I'm giving them 12 wins, 5 losses. And I almost said 13.
Yeah, I know you did. That's good. Okay, so here are the positives for me. I think that this defense that was already good last year got way better. I think the additions of guys like Patrick Queen, Peyton Willis, Deshaun Elliott, Dante Jackson, great. The problem this year could very well be the exact same problem that has been the last 3 years, which is the quarterback play. They could go from a team that could not actually move the ball in the field to a team now that will fumble more than they ever have, or more than they have in the last 10 years. Those are the
Yeah,
things I
both
worry about.
Fields and Wilson have a problem with fumbling.
Right. I had them at 8 and 9 because I still think that Mike Tomlin's going to
You're
win 9
predicting a
games.
team gets better, and this is the year that he comes under 500.
I think their offense is going to be the exact same. And I think everyone else in the division got better.
So you agree that Arthur Smith has always been a good offensive coordinator, but their
Yes.
offense is going to be the exact same.
Yes.
Your logic
I think
reads like an old Chinese folk tale. It begins in the middle and ends at the beginning. I can't follow you.
I think year 2 of Justin Fields with Arthur Smith would be great. I think he's going to be far and away a better quarterback than he was before. But listen, you have him at 12 wins. I have him at 8. I'm happy to split it at 10. Because they ain't winning 13. You know it.
Well, let me throw it to the guys. What do you guys think about where we are?
Yeah, please, opponents, help us.
Listen, not at 13. Like this. I got win 8 games. Honestly, I just think that they're not going to be as good as they've been. Obviously, I think this is the first year that we see Mike Tomlin have a losing record. I think at my season's end, doesn't mean he's going to lose the job. Obviously, but not harsh. I just feel like it's been trending that way the last 4 or 5 years. He's been right in the middle the last 5-6 years. Like they've been fighting for that 7th seed, and then they get smacked by a 2 seed. So I don't know. I just think, to me, do I believe in Mike Tomlin as a coach? Absolutely. I believe in Justin Fields as a talent. I believe in Russell Wilson to an extent, but obviously that changed a little bit in recent years. After I was on my high horse a couple years ago. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that too many things have to go right for them in order to win double-digit games. So yeah, I think 8 was respect to Mike Tomlin. It could be worse than that, but I think 8 is respectable because they're going to fight for him. And then, once again, best case scenario, they find a way to win 10, but I would go with 8, 9 at the most.
Yeah, I have 8 and 9, just because of Russell. I mean, if you're banking on Russell Wilson to be your guy, it just doesn't seem like the recipe for success to me. Yeah. And we haven't seen Fields with the real offensive coordinator, but I don't know when they're actually going to bring him in. You know what I mean? I feel like their upside and their ceiling, those 12 wins that you want, is only if Fields starts a quarterback. There's no way Russ is bringing him to that. Not a chance.
All right. Well, Mike, I think that means we have to go with my prediction because these motherfuckers always lose. So we just got to go with the opposite of what they're saying, right? Like that.
We're not going 12 and 5.
Okay. Can we run through the schedule really fast and I'll find my wins? Can you just pull up the schedule and I'll just find my wins? Because it's not that hard. I'm looking at it now. It's not. And I'm not even going to be a dick about it like you when you were like the Cowboys win.
Everyone fucking agreed with me, dude.
You think the Bengals will beat the Cowboys this year in that game? We'll see. I mean, yes. I just have a lot of doubt in the Bengals, I guess. Maybe I'm infected with Bengals doubt.
All right, week 1. Falcons.
Win.
Broncos.
Win.
Chargers.
Lose.
Colts.
Win.
Cowboys.
Win.
You fucking dick. Raiders.
Win.
Jets.
Win.
Giants.
Win.
So now they're 7-1. Commanders.
Win.
8-1. Yeah. Ravens.
Loss.
8-2. Browns.
Loss.
Bengals.
Loss.
Browns. Loss. So we're 8-5. Eagles.
Win.
Ravens.
That's after 4 straight L's. That'd be a hell of a win right there.
Okay. Chiefs.
But I split the Ravens.
Yep.
They always split every year. Loss.
Bengals.
Win.
Okay, so that's 11-6. That's 11-6 then.
I'll take 11-6. Can we do 11-6?
Sure, dude. If you want to lose, let's do 11-6.
Whoa! Jeez! Fuck!
I placate you for one team every year. Last year was the Bears.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll take responsibility for it. If that's the fairness. Like I'll take responsibility for it either way. I agree that the one thing I did agree with was it was tough for me to imagine them winning 13 games. I came down one, and I think that's magnanimous as fuck. Is quite frankly how I
agree, dude.
But anyway, whatever. Gentlemen, it's time to talk about the NFC South. I'm sorry in advance to everybody that you have to listen to, unfortunately, a breakdown of the NFC South, because even like some sexy Atlanta moves aside, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to really look at. So where are we at, guys?
Yeah,
I'll go.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we actually got this spot on, right? Like pick for pick on this one. So we both have Atlanta and Tampa Bay at 9-8. New Orleans at 6-11, and Carolina at 3-14. I think Atlanta is going to take this division. I think the addition of Kirk Cousins, along with Raheem Morris as the new head coach, is really just the recipe needed for success for all those skill positions up there. You know, it's been 2-3 years now that we've been trying to bank on this Atlanta skill position thing ever since Kyle Pitts got there, essentially. And it just hasn't come to fruition yet. But now with Kirk Cousins coming in there and actually a quarterback that can get them the weapons, I think Atlanta at 9-8 and division champion is good.
Even drawing up plays for those skill positions at all would be an improvement.
Is a one up from what they were last year, which is funny because it's Dr. Smith, who was just the offensive coordinator you were raving about. But
strange. But I mean, he was always a good offensive coordinator. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things that I think there's such different jobs. I mean, this point has been talked out by everybody, but I think there's such different jobs that it's like you could be really talented at one and not necessarily talented at the other. I think like I would imagine it's a little overwhelming to really think about play calling, like play to play, if you're the head coach. You know, like that's a lot to do in one job. So fair enough.
And Tampa Bay, I don't know. I wanted to get them to 10 wins. I really did. But I just don't know if I can believe in Baker Mayfield to get above that 10-win mark again. I think 9-8 is a perfect spot for both these teams. Ray, you want to take New Orleans and Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, listen, New Orleans has gone through, more transitions, than my high school the last year, right? It's amazing how much turnover has happened over there. So, between Spencer Rattler and Chris Olave, and I think Michael Thomas is still there, and obviously Alvin Kamara, but some skill positions are still decent there. But overall, that team is just not where they need to be. And, it's going to take a while for them to get back to where they were during the Breeze and Payton era. So, yeah, I just don't think that they're just going to be that good. But because that division always beats each other up, and, like, they'll win a few games they're not supposed to win, and that's what happens. As far as Carolina, I mean, once again, you can't get much worse than what you were last year, which is why I have them just winning. We had them winning 3 games because they'll win a couple of games, and you're just like, oh, how do they, find a way to get this? Hopefully, Bryce Young is a little bit better than he was.
Still in such a bad situation, though, dude. I feel almost bad for the fucking kid.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's another fan of SC, I mean, I don't feel bad for him, but I mean, I just think that he could do a little bit better.
I don't think he's good. Like, I don't think he could. I don't think you could put him in a position like some of the things that you see him do are so rudimentary, like level mistakes, and like the way. Like his footwork and athleticism, it's just I don't think it's like at the NFL level that people.
Yeah, he's in the.
I just feel bad because there's no way to really know, right?
Right. Well, I mean, right now, once again, it's only a year, but obviously we have to see what he does this year and even next year. But right now, he's in the AJ McCarron, Gray McElroy category right now of Alabama bust at quarterback. So, and obviously they've had a nice run lately. To obviously, we know Mac Jones what he ended up becoming in the league. But yeah, it's just like, they haven't been known to produce great, quarterbacks at that position. So, we're going to see if he turns it around, but we're not going to find out this year. I promise you won't.
It'd be great if he got to a Jake Plummer level. I think that would be,
be
great news for them at this point.
He's awesome. He had our number.
Jake the Snake reference. I like.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a millennial podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for those. I was young once. I mean, I like your assessment of these teams, to be honest with you. I was actually pretty close in my kind of scribbled down predictions for these NFC divisions. The Panthers are obviously turgid. The Saints, I mean, I agree with you on the Saints too. I always like kind of fall into the Saints trap where I'm like, but Olave is good, or like, oh, Alvin Kamara, like, come on, and then you're staring down the barrel of like they're struggling to get to 11th, and it's just like, all right,
the Saints are definitely one of those teams that you always think are going to be better than they are because of the past, for sure.
Right. Yeah. You have a little bit of a legacy thing built up in your head with them because you're like, I don't know, like they're literally for like half our lives, they were good every single year. So it's like, and like, it was always a tough place to go. And it was like, and then all the Katrina happened and everyone's like, oh yeah, the Saints are good.
Right.
Like,
right now they're at where we were as kids, right? So, and this is post-Ricky Williams. So, Aaron Brooks, Bruce McAllister, Jerome Morton.
Aaron Brooks. Nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Mike
that's
Vick's cousin.
now. Say it again.
Mike Vick's cousin.
Mike Vick, yeah. So that's what we are right now with them. And once again, Dennis Allen is like another Jim Haslett. So that's kind of where they are. They're in that transition. And once again, they had some guys that eventually became good players elsewhere, but they were kind of in limbo in the early 2000s as a team. So I think that's kind of where they are now before they got Breeze and got Reggie Bush and the rest of the crew. So, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they have some building blocks going into this year for the future.
Mike, what do you make of these assessments? Any hard disagreements on these 4 teams?
No, I think that division is going to be trash, like it has been since Breeze and Brady left it.
It's a little better overall, right? Than last year.
I think the improvements that Atlanta made. I don't
we
really
spent
know
this show shitting on that division last season. Like we really were hard.
Well, yeah.
This season we're a little bit more like, I mean, I don't know. They suck still, kind of.
But just think about it though. Like all the additions that the Falcons made, and they just agreed at 9-8.
Yeah.
So
I know.
shows you the division right there.
Right.
And also, like, people are a little too high on Atlanta, like across the board. Like, I'm just hearing, like, people are coming in on like the Atlanta could be a sexy team like 1 year too late. Like last year, we were like, I don't know, like they got like some guys, we could see what they can do. And Kirk's coming off a bad injury.
Is the real deal. Drake London's pretty good. Once again, on paper, but that's how it's always been, right? Like it's always been on paper. Listen, they had Julio Jones, Muhammad Sanu, Devontae Freeman, MVP.
Yeah, they made it to the Super Bowl and like won the first half.
Like you know what I'm saying? So just like they were, so I mean they
were good.
They've had some teams down there in our lifetime that, once again, they've come a long way from where they were. So I don't know. But I mean, like I said, I don't, but we'll see. Once again, when you give a guy 180, he better find a way to deliver, 35 or not. You better figure it out. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do down there.
Coming off an Achilles too. So
exactly. So we'll see.
I mean, there's gotta be like
if Michael Penix isn't good this year, they're in trouble.
The capital that I think the Minnesota Vikings spent with their fan base by letting Kirk Cousins go, I think tells you that maybe they know something. They're not idiots in Minnesota. Like I wouldn't classify them as like very stupid. Like they had some unlucky things go on, but like they've put together a pretty decent team there, despite like the NFC meme war that I'm like constantly reading about. But it's like at the end of the day, they let him walk. It's a serious injury. You can't get to 10 or 11 wins with this team, even with the skill positions. Like it just makes sense. I mean, I would pump their numbers up only with the logic of look at all the teams they played twice. Like that's the only thing that like this like kind of reads to me as. But I think it's a safe bet because like you're begging a team that historically, regardless, like the overall point being, regardless of the amount of skill position players we see, those guys have been there in different iterations, in different eras, and in this iteration, to be quite honest, like minus Kirk Cousins, and they didn't really get it done. So, yeah, I'm a little burned by them. We'll see. I'm in the same boat. We'll see that like what they can do this year. I mean, I don't think it'd kill you to like get that prediction wrong, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. All right, Mike. Let's talk about the AFC South. The Texans are obviously the hot shit team coming into this year. Everybody's super duper high on them. I'm not among them. I don't have any hot takes about the Houston Texans. Did I bait you there for a quick second, Mike? Just the rage that descended on his face, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also high on them. I think CJ Stroud is generationally good enough to avoid a sophomore slump. I am super, super high on their coaching staff and just giving them more time and trust in another offseason with some very, very smart additions. You could essentially say in Texas, we have Stephon Diggs and he's kind of our third wide receiver. So if he works out at like even close to the level that he reached in Buffalo, all upside at this point. He can't bitch, moan, and complain because like he spent that already, like because then it's your problem, so I can already hear out of his camp, like he's with the program, like he's there, he's like, I'm going to show everybody I'm still like at this level. He's saying all the right things, which, doesn't always mean everything, but like whatever. I wrote down 12-5. I think I want to give him 13 wins. I want to give him 13 wins.
Okay. Well, I had him at 11-6. So let's just go with 12-5.
Walk me through your 11-6 logic.
Well, listen, I think
Their defense
that
is better and their offense is better and their quarterback is sick.
Yes, but I think that the Colts will be better this year, and I also think that the Jaguars are. I mean, I don't think that they're formidable at all, but it's a divisional opponent, and anything can happen. But mainly, it's just the Colts. I mean, if Anthony Richardson stays healthy, which I do think he has a pretty good chance of doing, they're gonna play them a little bit tougher. I just think 11-6 puts us in a great spot because I think the likelihood of them winning 12 games is great. I feel less great about 13. I would not want to. I can't sit here and say, because as it's currently constituted, we would think that they're going to be the 1 seed in the AFC. And
Yeah, I would not.
Everybody yet though.
I wouldn't honestly not be surprised to see the Texans in the Super Bowl this year. To be totally honest.
Do you think that they can win?
A lot of people sexy pick for the Super Bowl.
You had them at 13-4, right?
Yeah, officially yes. I want to give them.
So you think they could win 14 games?
I'm picturing the Texans logo in my head and transporting myself into the future, and I can actually see 14. Like I can see it. Maybe it's a scoreboard. I don't know. I just see a little square. I mean, my powers of predicting the future are waning in my old age, but the number 14 is like it's visible there for me for the Texans.
Yeah.
It's achievable for the Texans, and what a great fucking fun season of football we'd all have if it happened. What great highlights we would have all watched of CJ Stroud just fucking balling out for all but 3 games, and even in those 3 games, probably still pretty decent. You know, I mean. The up and down swing of the Houston Texans from Bobby's famed bookmark of them being up against the Chiefs in the divisional game, or was it the AFC Championship game? And come on,
I just want to say that 15 minutes ago, you could see the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 13 games.
Who was that guy? You know, I would call that a brief bout. So
can we just say 12-5, please? Because they ain't winning 14. I will I'll even bet you on it right now that they're not going to win 14 games.
Okay.
If it makes you feel any better for losing.
Okay. Nope. 12-5 is fine. I think that's completely reasonable. And I mean, yeah, maybe I got carried away.
No.
I'm high on the Jags too. I have them at 11-6. What do you got?
I had them at 8-9.
You think they got worse?
I think that they're going to feel the loss of Calvin Ridley this year. Yeah.
You think they got worse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if Trevor Lawrence gets hurt, then it's.
But this is the Trevor Lawrence make or break here, and we're essentially saying is it make or break.
And he got that huge contract. So
and they took a weapon away from him. Well, not took it, but they didn't sign
They gave him Gabe
Davis.
I think he can do a lot with that.
You think so? You would equate Gabe Davis?
I don't think he's as good as Calvin Ridley. No, I don't. But I think overall they've improved.
Gabe Davis had one of the best postseason performances we've ever seen in this era.
Lightning in the bottle.
That's saying he's better than Ridley, but no, his team lost. But I'm saying you speak about him as a talent. What we saw in the playoffs from him was one of the best performances we ever seen from any receiver. Oh yeah, once again, Trevor Lawrence is not scrub, so I think that once again, I'm not saying he's going to get 80 catches for 1,000 yards, but can you get 60 for 800 and 5 touchdowns? That would be a heck of a season for him if that's the case. Coming off from what he came from, so
they also beefed up his line, which was desperately needed from last season. They signed Mitch Morris at center, who's legit. They signed Ezra Cleveland at guard, I think is probably going to be pretty good, but he hasn't played a ton of games. And they beefed up. I think Darnell Savage at safety is a good deal. So I don't know. I think every time a Jags deal popped up in the offseason, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's all right. They got a little bit better. Now, obviously losing Calvin really fucking sucks, but I just think that Trevor Lawrence is legit, and I think that that's where this logic sort of hinges on.
Okay.
So
the name of the game, though, is. Are you?
I agree.
Confident?
I can already see where you're about to take us, and I'll give you 9 and 8 on the Jags because I can see 10.
Right,
but it's fine. Yeah, I'll give you 9 and 8 on the Jags. Which means they keep
Mike a T-shirt that says "Go Mr. Hedge."
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean,
Because-
honestly, but the logic is sound. Like the logic is sound. Like we're apart and we come together in the middle. I swear to God, we could do peace in the Middle East with this. Me and Mike, just send me and
I'm not
Mike.
doing this.
We'll
No,
just
we're
split
not
right
doing
down the
this.
middle. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. Just sit in the room and we can talk it through. I mean,
We've
if we do this,
solved,
we can
we've
do
solved
anything.
modern politics, everyone.
Modern
Yeah.
fucking politics. Okay. You think the Colts are going to be better? You've already alluded to that. I also think the
Yes.
Colts are going to be better. I think they're going to be one game better.
So you have them at,
They were 9-8 last year. They're 10-7 this year.
I have them at 9-8 this year.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's talk through it a little bit then. I think it's hinges on Richardson. I think this is his breakout year. I feel good about him.
And Jonathan Taylor.
And Jonathan Taylor. I think that, obviously injuries have been a factor. I just want to see him play healthy. I want to see him play healthy. And I think I think they're due a little bit of injury luck in Indianapolis. Like overall, no pun intended, to be totally honest with you, overall over the last 15 years, they're due a little injury luck. So, I think that, again, I mean, not to just like nitpick and go through every single offseason move for all these teams, but like, I just think that they've improved on both sides of the ball a little bit. And, I just the vibes are good. Does that make sense? Like the vibes are kind of good with the Colts, like with Richardson. I just like the vibes are coming off nice. I would love to pump them one game if you don't mind.
Let's go 10-7.
Because like 11 is a stretch, but like, well, actually 11 is a fucking stretch for them, isn't it?
It's a real big stretch, but if you want to pump it, let's pump it.
Because we agree that they could win 10 games if we make them 9-8. That essentially is the logic. We agree.
Yeah,
they
I
could
don't.
win 10.
I
I think 8 is a stretch though, but something could go wrong. Someone could get hurt. Okay, cool.
I think
Let's
they have
go
a
with you.
higher probability to win 8 games than they do 11.
It's. I mean, I love how your brain works. This is a great prediction. 9-8 is a great prediction. You gotta play.
Perfect.
You gotta play the game. You gotta play the
That's
game.
right.
I think the Titans now.
This is
I
so
was-
good.
This might be
5-12. 5-12.
Oh, this
Okay.
this is so good to see like this just unfold in person. This is great. I don't have to say another word the rest of the show. I'm good. I have nothing else to say. This is good. This is good.
I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I kind of think the Titans can win 3 games, and I could also
Okay.
see them winning 2 games.
Wow.
Okay, but you
Wow.
really think that they're going to win 4 games?
5 sounds right though. Now that you say 5,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm at 5-12.
4
Wow. Okay.
is what I wrote down. I wrote down 4 and 13.
Yeah.
Wow. Love that. For those that can see it on
Something always. So it's also like historically, something always happens in the AFC South to a quarterback in that division.
Oh God!
So,
Well,
so
Oh, no, Mike, no.
You just cursed that
No,
whole
Mike,
division.
no,
Jeez.
it's
Folks, for the folks
Jeez.
at home, Mike's
It's
standing
just-
over a cauldron right now, stirring
true.
newts into a witch's brew. Jesus, man.
typically it's the
Sorry.
Colts quarterback, but listen,
agree.
if I think 5-12 covers us.
Okay. You know what? I feel like I want to go with you on this division. You seem to have better instincts about this division than I do. I think 6 wins for the Titans would be a fucking miracle, but all right. Yeah. All right. 5-12. We're good. Guys, what'd you think? Any big disagreements? I'll tell you what we did. 12-5, we settled on for the Texans. 9-8, we settled on for the Jags. 9-8, we settled on for the Colts, and 5-12, we settled on for the Tennessee Titans.
So I mean, not much of a difference. Like for me, because like I said, I thought that we were doing this. So I had Houston 12-5. I had Jacksonville 9-8. I had the Colts 8-9, and then I had Tennessee at 7-10. And once again, I just think because once again, whether they're splitting wins in the division, they'll run their way to winning a couple of games they shouldn't have won, just like they did last year, right? Like I remember the Monday night game against Miami when they found a way to. So they'll win random games.
Was that the Vrabel Titans, though?
That was the variable
It's his
Titans.
roster still. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not him, he's not the head coach anymore, but that's his roster still. So
But the Vrabel
And
point is like what got me to where I was with the Titans. Like the idea of letting him walk. Like when a franchise does something like that, such an obviously stupid mistake, they always get punished in the NFL. The NFL is an extremely punishing fucking league for dumb ass moves, like letting Mike Vrabel, good head coach, walk out of your organization's front door when he didn't want to leave. And I
Right.
think that like, the fact that he didn't get a job, some people are pointing to, and I'm like, he'll be all right. Like, I promise you he'll be all right. Like, I would be very unsurprised to see him standing on a sideline this season, to be totally honest with you. So we'll see. But I just always think organizations that do stuff like that, and like also, they were Derrick Henry. The Titans were Derrick Henry. Like anytime the Titans put anything fucking
Agreed.
meaningful on the board, it was because of that guy. Bobby's been banging that drum the loudest for the last 3 years. Like he's been like, Derrick Henry's great. And then like he leaves and I can see Bobby's facial expressions that he's lost interest in the Titans completely. Because they just don't have anybody anymore,
Well,
you know?
well, like, they got Tony Pollard. They got
my boy Pollard now. Yeah.
Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins has been dropping a lot of fucking passes in the in training camp, dude. It has looked a little strange over there. I don't know. They had DeAndre Hopkins, and if they also have a time machine to take us to 2019, they're in great shape.
Who's that? Who's their quarterback over there?
It ain't Tannehill.
Will Levis.
Phil Levis.
Oh, Will Levis from Kentucky. Okay, Mr. Mayonnaise, because he's all the man. That's the guy. Got it. Okay.
Now he had a good year last year for being Will Levis.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't see that happening again. I think that was an offensive.
Yeah, I mean they're going to be at the top. I think they're going to be looking for a quarterback again next year too. I feel like they with them hitching their wagon to Tannehill a few years back, and once again he did okay. Got him into the playoffs. Whatever, they were very close a few times. As far as getting to the division round, I think they got to an AFC Championship game with him too, if I'm not mistaken, which is wild to even think about.
Yeah, they beat Baltimore that one year.
I know fans of Miami were like, where the fuck was this at? But yeah, I don't know. But like I said, 6 games, 7 games. Like I said, 7 games might be on the high end, but I think when you can run the football, they've always been able to do down there. That's just been a staple down there. They'll run their way into some wins
because they had Derrick Henry.
No, I was saying probably not the stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like they'll still run their way into some games where you're like, oh, okay, like. They won it 20-17, something like that. That's how they're gonna have to win. They're not gonna win the shootout. It's not gonna happen. But
I've always liked the Titans as a franchise ever since the Eddie George, Air McNair.
Absolutely, Eddie George. Yep.
Era, to be honest, and I think their uniforms are pretty sick.
Nice.
Bobby, any major disagreements on our AFC South predictions here? Anything? Or were we too hard on anyone? Too easy on anyone?
No, I think you guys got it pretty good. I think the Colts are the one team that have the most upside out of all those teams that you guys read off. Besides the Texans, obviously.
Did you see 11 wins for the Colts?
I could see it. It depends on Anthony Richardson, man. I've been tooting Anthony Richardson's horn since he was at Florida.
Oh my God! Does he say thank you?
He does. He does.
Oh wow, lovely! What a courtesy,
bro. He's something.
I mean, go Gators. I gotta see it. I gotta see him healthy.
He's fun to watch, though.
His
general body positioning, just like how he carries himself, like what he's like one of those players that like appear across all sports that when they have the ball, you're like, I think something cool is about to happen. And I just love players like that. I just like watching them play. So I hope the upside is true.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan of the overall product, like obviously it does us a justice if they all stay healthy and they all produce to an extent, because
I'm cheering for him, honestly.
Yeah,
and the Jags a little bit too
every week. So yep.
The whole division, I like, to be honest. I just like the teams in the division.
The division's fun. This is a fun division to have. I had forgotten how it was to predict for this division, because everybody's good and the Titans are shitty, but we don't hate them. So it's right. Okay, maybe they can win some games. That'll be fun. All right, well, tell us about your NFC East predictions, fellas.
So go ahead,
oh boy.
Yeah, I take this one. All right, so yep. I mine differ from Ray's a little bit on this one. I don't know. Do you want to go by team like they do?
Yep, go ahead. So
All right. So I'll start with my Cowboys. I have my Cowboys. I originally had them at 11-6. I'm looking at it now, though. I think I want to move it up to 12. So
yeah,
we're gonna go 12-5 for the Cowboys. This is just reading off here. Eagles 11-6. I think New York takes a big. So we'll go Washington first. Washington 6-11. I think New York takes a big step back after losing Saquon, and they go 4-13. Ray, I know you had Philly and Dallas switched on me here. So what do you think?
Yeah, so I'm 12-5, bro. I don't know. I'm sorry, bro. Jerome
not
Blaine.
This year, not
all right,
this
gentlemen. All right, guys, it's time. We're doing Bob's intervention right now. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
We're here to tell Bob about the worst running back room in maybe the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah, but even before we get to that, I'm talking about so you lose Jerome Blaine. Yes, you finally signed CeeDee Lamb. Great, awesome. That had to happen. You come in with the uncertainty of knowing what is this going to be Dak's final season? Where's his mental going to be at? I think that matters regardless of what Jerry is saying, regardless of what Stephen Jones is saying, regardless of what Mike McCarthy is
Final
saying.
season or final season in Dallas?
Final season in Dallas, I'm saying. Like, final season in
Oh.
Dallas.
Talking
Could
about
do that. You know what
putting
I'm
the
saying?
witch's
So,
brew
I
on.
think they
I'm
end up
hanging up
getting
that.
it done.
We're
Yeah, I think they
ending,
end
we're
up getting it
ending
done.
careers.
Right. I think they get it done, but it's just a matter of, I'm talking as far as like a deal. I think they do get that done eventually, but I'm just saying, like, going into that right now, like, that's something that is going to be hovering over the team. And yes, we know that no one loves soap opera stuff or drama more than, Jerry Jones. I get that. But I do think it weighs on the team enough where that's why, like I said, I gave them 10-7, but I want to split in the middle and just say, let's get them at 11-6. And just, if you want to get them the tiebreaker, that's fine. But at 11-6 to me is doable. But 12-5 to me is not something that I think is feasible at this moment personally. But
Well, that gives us 10. That gives us 10 wins, and that gives us 11.
Yeah.
So we'll go with it. I don't see 9-8. I just don't see it. But
No. I don't think 9-8. I'm saying that's why I said no. I still think double digits is doable because of the talent that's still there. I just think, like I said, 12 to me was too high, but I'm fine with meeting in the middle for 11 there. As far as the New York and Washington thing goes, I feel like Washington to me just has more questions they need to answer, which is why I had them at the bottom at 4-13. But I'm okay with flipping either one of those. Like, to me, both of them suck. So it just doesn't really matter where they're going. Daniels can be better than what obviously Daniel Jones is going to be. So I'm totally fine with flipping that. So if you want to flip, and we can have Washington at 6-11 and then New York at 4-13, totally fine, or have them at 5-12, either one. But they're both going to be trash this year, and I look forward to it personally, watching that unfold over there. So, but yeah, that's my only flip there.
What about the Eagles?
yeah,
Oh no, and the Eagles, to me, 11-6 is still fine. I think that that's another team. Actually, you know what? Now when I think about it too, because I just made the story about the turmoil in Dallas. There's definitely turmoil in Philly too. I'm fine with bumping them down to 10-7. I think, and we'll talk about this later on with coaches, but Nick Sirianni, brother, your seat is hotter than a Miami summer. Like you got a lot to prove, brother, because there's a guy on the Pat McAfee show that's talking every week that's ready to take your job. So you better get right before you get left. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, I could drop them down to 10-7 because I think that they're gonna have some moments where you're like, what is this team even recognizable? And then they'll catch fire towards the end. So yeah, we can do 11-6 for Dallas, 10-7 for Philly, 6-11 for Washington, and then 4-13 for New York.
Mike, I'd like to dive right in on the Dallas point.
Yeah, let's. Can you go first, please?
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
I would imagine he'd be champion at the bit. I mean, listen,
it's my favorite time of year.
I was high on Dallas. I got on the boat. I got on the Grim Reapers fucking boat for the last 2-3 years when that young defense started to emerge, and I thought they were really, really exciting to watch, and I really enjoyed watching the Cowboys play, to be totally honest with you. Me and Bobby every week were basically cheering for him together because it felt like it was something. Like that defense was something. It was a high wire act, but it was like when they walked the tightrope, they really always were super entertaining to me. I don't have the same sort of Patriots sort of like disgust with the Dallas Cowboys as you guys do. But that being said, like the balance finally tipped. My hatred for Dak Prescott finally tipped over my love for their defense into the scale. Just like, I can't sign up for another bandwagon, second team cheer for year with them, because they just didn't show up. Like, they died such a pathetic death on that fucking field against the Packers that I just had to look away from them in disgust. Look what they did. They massacred my boy. And there's no fucking guts in that team. There's no guts in that team whatsoever. And it's probably Dak's fault. And the contracts thing a few years ago was a fucking disaster. Jerry Jones is a fucking racist. And I wish nothing but bad things on them. I would have put him at 9-8. I would have predicted at 9.
I would have also put them at 9-8. I'm actually going to take a more diplomatic approach. After I do this,
they are my feelings.
This is
not Bobby's fault.
Time. I'm about to make it Bobby's fault. This is the 5th straight August, 5th straight show that you have heard Bob Kelly, the real BK, say that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win 12 games. That this is the year they're going to figure things out.
This is it.
This will be the 5th straight December that you hear Bobby say, "Fuck those Cowboys. I'm not falling for this shit again next year." They're going to be 9-8. Their Dan Quinn, he's gone. Like their defensive mastermind is gone. Mike McCarthy has proved that he doesn't know how to call a game to win it. Dak doesn't have any balls. Their running back room is terrible. I still think they would finish second in the division, but I mean, yeah, 9-8. That's more likely, in my opinion. But before everybody get on, I said to Bobby, so what do you have? The Cowboys at 11-6, going to bump them to 12-5, and then he fucking did it. He did exactly what I said he was going to do.
Jedi Master Mike Marcangelo.
But I do think that you all are underrating the Giants, and I'm not a Giants fan. I fucking hate the Giants. What I will say is I've always been the one banging the drum that if the best player on your team is your running back, you're not that good of a team. They loaded up on defense. They fortified their offensive line. They got Daniel Jones a weapon. I don't think Daniel Jones is a great quarterback, but they have to figure it out. So I think that this is
drinking that Hard Knocks Kool-Aid. That's what he's doing.
This is going to be. I think it's going to be
for other reasons,
like a balanced year. And it's funny because 2 years ago, the man with the star on his hat was saying how Brian Daboll was the best fucking coach that he's ever seen.
Didn't he lose a bunch of weight though?
Until I saw him put his feet up at every meeting in that Hard Knocks. His feet.
Oh, but I'm drinking the Hard Knocks Kool-Aid.
I mean, listen, where he had them at 2 years ago when they won that, I think actually in Tennessee, that week one, a couple years ago, they come in there, they were down. People didn't expect them to win. They came in there, won on a 2-point conversion. It was like, okay, and that propelled their season. Now, once again, a lot of this stuff is hinging on can Daniel Jones perform. So to me, that's great. Right, exactly. So you beat up the line. You beat up defense front. So yeah, so they'll be in more games because obviously, once you get more talent, usually that helps obviously. But once again, if you're hinging on number 8 to produce, once again, when your career highlight is you running 70 yards all on your face, that's a problem. That's a problem.
I love that you're already declaring it his career highlight. Like it's done.
So far his career highlight is that.
But it's I think more likely if he's just like that's the career highlight.
No, sure. I mean, once again, we've seen it, but it's just like, hey, it's not. I mean, we'll see. I know Neighbors is gonna. I think Neighbors is gonna be a dog. I really do. I think he's gonna be a problem.
Neighbors is a dog.
But to me,
he stayed on the board so long in our fantasy draft because of Danny Dimes, though.
Right, exactly. Correct.
And I said it in the group chat.
I should tell you everything you need to know that people saw him on the board and was like, yeah, he's talented.
I wanted him, but I let him go because I thought about having to give a shit about fucking Danny Dimes all season. I thought about having to care about his season, and I was like, I don't want to be involved in that. I don't want to sign up on that expressway.
Dude, I feel that.
I generally agree with your guys' picks on the Giants. You're right, Mike, that all three of us are lower on the Giants than you. But I guess we'll see. I mean, I do agree that they've improved, but I had them around there too. One thing I would push back on slightly, but not even that big of a deal outside of Dallas would be the Eagles. Like, there's a chance that stuff's all overblown. Like, I do think that there's something to be said for Kelsey leaving when I think he probably had another year in him physically. Those are the indications he was giving, but he was sort of like, I don't know if there's, he just seems like a smart guy. I think he like sort of looked around and said like, is it going to be worth it for the rest of my life if I don't get another chip, And I think he maybe just didn't see like a championship winning team there. And that's not to say that they're not still a really talented team. And I'm really excited to see Saquon Barkley run beyond that offensive line still. I mean, they still have a really talented offensive line. I know that Kelsey was the leader and I'm not discounting how big of a deal he was, but those guys are good. And they got a new offensive and defensive coordinator last year, right? If I'm not mistaken. So they've had a year to bet in. So I think some of the kinks might be worked out. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sort of, when I was looking at him for fantasy picks, I was sort of like, yeah, I'm still pretty high on Barkley,
The Eagles have a different coordinator from last year on both sides of the ball.
Oh, again? The guys that they got fired again?
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh, great. Then better. Those guys sucked. Awesome. Great. 2 new guys. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how that goes. I don't know. They're good. They're like, they still have all the same really good players.
Quick aside, right? Because, people got in their feelings about DK's comments about it being creepy in Philadelphia. Well, guess what? He's right about it being creepy. So fuck y'all, respectfully. So next division. I had to put that out there.
I didn't really read any of them, but
No, I did because I'm just I was just scrolling through. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, y'all. I said one, hey, keep listening, but
are
respectfully.
you talking about last week?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
creepy.
There is something creepy there.
Yeah.
I mean, there is
Yeah,
sort
that'll
of
be
something
okay.
creepy.
That'll be
there.
all right.
Something creepy.
Yeah, that'll be
about
all right. Yeah, keep listening though.
I hope they fail now if people are mad.
Yeah,
But we officially have the Eagles at 1-16. Fuck everybody. All right, so let
1-16.
me
Can you
take
imagine?
a look
my
here,
God.
Mike. We got to go through your Pats division, buddy.
Okay, we're gonna start with the Patriots, please. All right, so the Patriots.
Please take it away. I maestro this whole division, I think.
I saw your sheet. I love you. I mean it, but you're wrong. The Patriots are going to go 4-13, and 4 is their fucking ceiling, as it should be. Their offensive line is terrible, and what they've done in with Drake May this offseason, this training camp, I think that they put themselves in a no-win situation where if I were them, I would have made Drake May like the number 3 starter. Number 3 quarterback. I would not put him as the backup because I think there's a real possibility that Jacoby's going to get hurt. Drake's going to come in game 2 or 3, and then we're really fucked. You might ruin this kid. I'm so down on the Patriots, but that's where we're supposed to be right now, in the sense of they don't have a great quarterback yet. They should let him cook a little bit. I think their receivers. This is probably the best skill room that they've had since Brady left, which I'm happy about. But the offensive line just isn't anywhere good enough. So, and everyone in the division got better, aside from Buffalo a little bit. But the Jets are way better than they were last year, and I fucking hate Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so when I was thinking about their wins, I was just going off this thing that kept rolling around in my head of like we were talking about them having like a borderline elite or elite defense
Top
2
10
years ago.
and last year. They had top 10 defense last year.
And last year.
Yeah.
And I think their defense is still good and has improved significantly in the offseason with some, I think, shrewd defensive contract signings. I think losing key guys to injury
and Judon.
trading Judon, it signaled to us that the Patriots have given up on having
that Barmore injury is brutal. That was the start.
Yeah.
It was the
I mean,
start
I think that makes the Judon trade happen. I think if he doesn't get hurt, the Pats I think they keep Judon, right? But I think once he gets hurt, they're like, all right, fuck it. Let's take the 3rd round pick. Like, whatever. I agree the offensive line is Swiss cheese. And I just took a look at the schedule, and honest to God, I don't know if I can find 2 wins. Honest to God, I don't know if I can find.
Thank you. I'm telling you.
Bengals, Seahawks is 1 win they could potentially. I think they could beat the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are a little more dysfunctional than people think. Potentially.
They've beat the Bills once a year for the last 3 years.
But this is just me like at my most trying to find wins, okay? Most possibly trying to find wins.
Man. It's not happening.
Bengals, they lose. Seahawks, they win. Jets, they lose. 49ers, they lose. Dolphins, they lose. Texans, they lose. Jags, this is a bad schedule. Jags, they lose. They could maybe beat the Jags. Like there's like a 3% chance.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Jets, divisional game.
No.
Divisional game, right? Something. Titans, they'll win. That's a game I think they can win. Bears, I hope they lose. Rams, I think they lose. Dolphins loss, Colts loss, Cardinals possible win. Cardinals is a possible.
Yeah, I have Cardinals, Jags, and then what was that first one? God,
Seahawks.
Yeah, those are my 3.
Jacksonville too. Jacksonville.
Those are my 3.
So if those are your 3, they're probably
even those are tough wins though. Even those are tough.
They're probably not going to win all 3 of those games. Is the thing.
They're not. Don't tell me.
So if those are the 3 that you can possibly find, they're probably not going to win all 3.
I also have them splitting once with the Bills.
I think we should put them at 2 wins.
Thank you. Please.
You know what?
Because
of all the times that I acquiesced in you.
But it's your team. No, I'm not. I don't want to do that because it's your team. If you know better than I do here. You know better than I do here. I'm just putting it in your mind to let you just roll it around for a second.
Give me 3-14. That way I can still hedge to 4-13.
Okay, that's fine. I think 4 wins that means they win every game they could possibly win.
Well, I also listen. I think that they might overperform my expectations. My
Okay.
expectations are
Okay.
3 to 4 wins.
Great. So we're going 3-14. Great. Jets. I have it 7-10 again.
I have the Jets at 10-7.
Okay.
Okay, this is a conversation. This is
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think honestly, like the biggest concern for me is their defense, their defensive line. Right, you Hassan Reddick still holding out. Offensively, this is going to be the best Jets team that we've probably seen in our lifetime.
We agreed last week on 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. We were on the same page. What happened? Who got to you?
Who
got
hate
to you,
Aaron,
man?
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
What are we doing here?
I hate him. I do.
Me too.
But
Me too. This is what we do. This is the fun thing we get to do every year.
I know.
He's always
Listen,
switching conferences so we can shit on him. It's great.
It's the thought, if he's healthy, him, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, I think even Tyler Conklin's going to have a good year because Rodgers loves his tight ends. I mean that in every way possible. I just think how many wins did they have last year?
7.
Well, yeah, 7. Yeah. Was Zach
I
Wilson?
think I think that Aaron Rodgers is 3 wins better than Zach Wilson.
Okay.
I just do.
That's probably that. Listen, everything you said, I agree with. And I'm just going to button it with one counterpoint. I agree that their skill positions are good. Their 10 wins good. I really like their defense. They're one of my top 5 favorite defenses if I was ranking them and like fun to watch. I think that Saleh has them like going through their tackles, running at 1,000 miles an hour, getting to their spots, getting tackles done first time, doing the simple stuff right. It's a lot of what I like about the Bears D coming into this year. I think Aaron Rodgers is such an asshole. Is such an asshole that he's going to fuck all that up to the tune of 7-10. That's all I got. I really think he's a prick. And I think everyone hates him. And I think that when your quarterback's that guy, he hasn't been good in 3 years, Mike. He hasn't been even good in 3 years. The name recognition thing has to at some point wear off. I agree that this is probably the best situation he's been in since he was 35. But I don't think Saleh likes him as a person.
Can we say 9-8 then?
Yeah, that's more reasonable. I was doing Aaron Rodgers bias hatred. I mean, that's completely reasonable. 9-8.
Listen, I'm with you. I love it.
I'm glad you're here for the fucking voice of reason. Dolphins.
I have them at 12-5. I mean, I know that it's not the same Odell Beckham, but it is, and he's their number 3 wide receiver this year.
I put the same thing. I mean, they're sick. Their offensive line's still trash, but apparently Tua can throw it in like 0.76 seconds or whatever the fuck. So like, great. I think their offense is going to look sick in the good weather for the first part of the season. Their schedules has obviously some tough games because of like how good they were last year with 11 wins, but they have some sunny weeks in Miami coming to them. So yeah, I think you can go find 12 wins. I'm cool with that. I don't. It's not a conversation. We're good. 12-5. Man, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know. I think they're about to fall apart. I think it's time. I think it's time finally. Yeah. Okay. I had them at 9-8, but I'm willing because it's your division to go up if we talk it through for 1 second. I do still like Josh Allen. I think he's a good QB. I think he's lost weapons now. They've never been able to figure out the running game, and that is an offense that needs the running game to work. I think he's a really good passer of the ball. I think qualities like he can throw a good ball no matter what position his body is in is a trait that I've come to really appreciate watching Caleb Williams in the preseason as I desperately try to look for all the good things I can possibly like cram into my brain as I watch him play football, even for brief snippets in preseason games. I do like Josh Allen. I just think they're worse on both sides of the ball, and his guy left. So to me, the season after your guy leaves season, single digit wins, unless your name is Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. So
Patrick Mahomes.
Fair enough. I'll give you 10. I'll give you 10-7. You won't see a fight from me there. I do sort of see they're going to do that thing that they always do where they lose games they should win. The
argument for both of us would be, what do you think is more likely, 11 wins or 8? And if you think it's 8, then let's do 9-8.
I mean, they're not a bad enough team to only win 8 games, right?
Right.
Not in that division.
Not yet.
Not when they get to play the Patriots twice. Sorry.
Right. That's like
I'm not trying to be a dick.
Come on, like what are we doing? Like
Okay. Yeah. 10-7. Sounds good. Ray, what'd you have, Matt? Just out of curiosity.
Buffalo. Let's see. I had Buffalo at.
I had them at
I had Buffalo at
10-7.
10-7 as well. So I had Miami 11-6, New York and Buffalo at 10-7, and I had New England at 2-15.
You and I were closer with the Pats, but you were more on Mike's side than with New York and probably the Bills. But we're agreeing on the Bills.
I don't, and like I said, I'm still baffled that Mike found a way to talk into 4 wins. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like,
the Pats?
Yeah, there's no fucking way.
They're
bro.
his team, dude. I can't. Like, he's.
No, they're my team too. But
I know, but you're not on my team.
no.
Like, he's on his ears to the ground. You know, I have to defer.
Like, there's no way. There's no way they win.
You abandoned teams during rebuilds, Ray. You already told us that. So like, we settled on 3. We settled on 3 and 14.
Bobby on the Pats.
I'm with you. I find it hard to find 2 wins. 2 wins.
Yeah,
2 wins is.
But
is
you
push-
found 12 for the fucking Cowboys.
Okay,
Thank
don't
you,
try and
Bobby.
discredit him. Don't try and discredit him. That's not fair. That's the fanhood doesn't
listen,
like disliking the Pats. Come on.
He's discrediting.
That's
me.
that's
started it.
It started.
Wait, Mike, you picking 4 is equivalent to Bobby picking 12.
We did but in fairness, we picked 3. And
I picked 3.
We picked
I know. I'm saying that's what you compromised on, but I'm saying this.
It makes sense though, right? Because I was like, I can see them winning 2 games, which you and I agree on, Ray.
Right.
And if you think about it, Mike agrees too. He can see them winning 2 games because we're covered. So
to be fair, in the show we did last week, like I was at the Charles River, like I was on the bridge, and I said 1-16. Mike was like, "Come on, like there could be 1 more game." I was like, you're right.
But for the purposes and the logic of this show, you can't make a 1-game win prediction because they're not going to win 0 games. Like
0,
most likely, right?
17.
Like just statistically in the
the
horoscope of the NFL, Farmer's Almanac.
Could you fucking imagine if they went 0-17? Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
I can.
It's fucking possible. It's definitely possible.
It's not possible.
All right. Okay, guys, but it's
Your defense is legitimately has decent players on it. Like
but that's been the case. Once again, we talked about this last week. I don't want to get too much rebel, but it's like they had 3 or 4 games in a row last year, and Mike
won 4 games last year.
No, I'm saying but they had 3 or 4 games, but they allowed 10 or less points.
What if Drake May comes in week 7 and starts balling out? Because to Mike's point,
I want to see him play anyways.
But to Mike's point, he's like fucking the offensive line's so bad that it's a death sentence for whoever fucking starts in that position. And then Drake May comes in and he's just good, so he just avoids that being a problem. Like a la CJ Stroud last year, and all of a sudden, the team we were the lowest on last year coming into that season was the fucking Texans because that roster was trash.
Yeah,
we didn't know that the coach was good because the coach was a non-entity. And the QB was a non-entity. It's the exact same situation. The Pats could win 9 games. Mike, we have to open the case file. Let's reassess. They might be the Texans of this year.
I mean, listen, that would be crazy if that was the case. I highly doubt it, but that would be crazy if that happened.
I'm just glad I got it on tape.
But we need Will Campbell, and I'm like me and Mike agree on that. We need Will Campbell, left tackle from LSU. So I actually hope they keep losing because that means the stock will be lower and teams won't be running again. So he'll fall right to our lap. So yeah, please, we need Will Campbell badly. But yeah, like I said, 2 wins would be a miracle. Honestly.
I just want to hedge though. I just want to put a button on the Patriots conversation with the fact that I do think it is a thing that you drafted well in Drake May. I think. I mean, obviously it's hard to know from the preseason, but from just my rudimentary understanding of what a good quarterback looks like, he looked pretty good to me. A lot of people are really down on him already, which I think is about as illogical as being even as up on him as I am. But because the coach and the quarterback are an unknown, the ball's still in the air, guys. Bobby, were we way off the mark with any other teams other than the Pats that jumped out to you? I feel like it's not a terribly complicated division to call. I mean, I know Ray had the Dolphins at 11 wins and we settled on 12, but like the same as last year, thereabouts. They did go down pretty fucking diabolically last year, and fucking hell, like they need a winter vacation if they're gonna. I think if the Dolphins could only play in the sunshine, they would win every fucking game.
The Cowboys in the AFC. That's what I would say about the Dolphins.
Yeah, except for the way better players. But
I would say Buffalo is not Miami.
Yeah,
I think
Buffalo rings.
because Miami just
They
got
both
back,
kinda are.
Miami
They
just
both
got back into this tier. Once again, it was curtains for a long time down there. It was quiet out there. I know it was real quiet. Okay, every time another team came in, the fans took over Hard Rock Stadium. I was gonna say Pro Player. I'm showing my age there. Hard Rock Stadium. They took over. So it's just now getting back to where it was, where the Dan Marino days, and even for our childhood with Jay Fiedler and Ricky Williams and Chris Chambers, that crew like that. They're just getting back to that now.
Bobby, anything on the Jets before we sign off this division?
I'm higher on the Jets than you guys are. I think Aaron Rodgers has a big comeback here. I know that's
At
like
40?
much dismay and pain to you guys, but
At 40.
Well, I'm you and I on board. I said the same thing.
I mean, I had him at 10-7. I
got
compromised.
So I think so too.
No, I do already know that I'm lower on the Jets than honestly the majority of people coming into this season. But I have to put my flag on the fuck Aaron Rodgers flagpole every single year. So here we are. Sometimes I'm right. Lately, though, is the thing. So that's why I was just a little bit.
Well,
more
I mean, you could absolutely be spot on with this, and I would not be surprised if you.
We'll see. I mean, I could see your guys's. I mean, obviously, the smarter money's probably on your bet, to be honest, about the Jets. But I fuck them. NFC West, gentlemen. However, you'd like to decorate us with your opinions.
you can
All
take
right.
this one, right?
Cool. So NFC West, pull it up. So San Francisco, 12-5, got them as an overall number 1 seed. Pretty high in the Rams, I think, because of how they ended last season. But I think they can find a way to go 10-7 for the LA Rams. Seattle going 8-9, and then Arizona 5-12.
Are these official predictions from your team, or is this just you?
Yeah, no, we had them spot on.
Okay,
I
great.
didn't differ
So-
at all from the NFC West, to be honest.
12-5
The only
for
thing-
the 49ers, 10-7 for the Rams,
Yep,
The
8-9 for
Rams-
Seattle,
8-9 for Seattle, and the Cards
Yep.
are what?
5-12.
5-12. Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I questioned was the Rams, but I had them at 9-8, and I was okay with going to 10-7, just because I could see them winning 11 more than I could see them winning 8. You know what I mean? With McVay as coach,
I always liked
Stafford as
McVay.
quarterback.
And honestly,
that's one of the top 10 quarterback coach combinations in the league. So to me, having them with a losing record was tough.
And to explain my reasoning, and then I mean, if there's anybody that I've irrationally loved, not just on the show, but just in general since he's been in the league, it's Matthew Stafford. I'm a big Matt Stafford guy. I wanted him here after Brady. The tape on that. I love Matt Stafford. I think that Matt Stafford is an awesome quarterback. I'm glad that he finally got a Super Bowl a few years back. So yeah, I think with him being healthy, obviously another season of Cooper Kupp being who he's been, the ascension of Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams is running back. Like they have pieces there offensively that would keep them in games. So yeah, I think that if they're healthy, yeah, they can figure it out and reel off a number of wins. Once again, they won the games last year. Towards the end, they shouldn't have won at all with the loss. Obviously, losing the greatest lineman of our generation by far, Aaron Donald, is going to be an issue.
Did the greatest lineman maybe ever leave? Is that going to be tough for them?
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's just like a minor. I mean, listen, they're going to be great, but there's just a minor little thing that happens.
This is
The best lineman of all time left.
Just
They're fucking made in a lab, fucking defensive tackle that's propped up their defense to the last decade.
Right.
It's not there
20
anymore.
sacks at D tackle.
No big deal. No big fucking deal.
Insane. So obviously, it's obviously going to be lineman by committee there for sure until they find
I
somebody.
believe in McVay to figure it out. I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, no. That's a super valid reaction because of what he meant to that organization.
I mean, I've never seen anybody like him personally.
No, he's unreal. I mean, once again, for the era before us. Well, I mean, it's not era when we were kids, but you think about the Reggie Whites, the Gilbert Browns, Strahans of the world. Bruce Smith's. To me, he clears a lot of those guys. And once again, those guys are all Hall of Famers.
I think it's undisputed that he's athletically the number one on the defensive line in the trenches. I don't think that's a conversation that anyone should ever have again. It's like if you want to do LeBron versus Jordan, you can, but athletically, you give it to LeBron every single time. Like you just have to.
Yeah.
The conversation's just fucking stupid, right? So yeah.
Right. So yeah, he got everything he wanted out the game. He won a Super Bowl, got a lot of money. Came out of there with his health. He's good, right? So kudos to him. But yeah, like I said, I think offensively, because of how strong I think they can be offensively and healthy, they can find a way to scrap up 10 wins. But like I said, I'm like I said, my reasoning, I'm high on Matt Stafford. Always have been. Always will be. So he retires. So.
That's why I gave it to you. Matthew Stafford was the reason for me.
Yeah.
I think that McVay took away. I mean, you guys remember me banging the drum of Matt Stafford getting traded down there. The change of scenery stuff, the vibes are obviously good, but I was so banging the drum of like when you pressure him, like when you get to him, because I played him twice a year for like the whole first part of his career.
Right.
When you pressure him, like we always were able to get in his face, and like just if you don't let him get him in a rhythm, he can't hurt you. If you don't let him get in a rhythm, he can't hurt you. That's like kind of true of Aaron Rodgers too. Even in his prime, the problem was you couldn't stop him from getting in a rhythm if you wanted to. So like that was the issue. So, but with Stafford, you could just sort of bundle him a little bit. And I think McVay just like tweaked that. Like, I think he just got him some simple passes that like got him out of certain situations to like get him back into the game rhythmically. I think McVay saw that. And it was the thing that made me respect, like, obviously there's a litany and a list of things you should talk about when you talk about Sean McVay. Like, there's some frauds, I think, that have come out of that Shanahan, like, coaching tree. There's some people that you're like, all right. But a lot of them are really good fucking coaches, if we're being honest. And I think McVay is probably the shining example. And I think that, like, I think the one argument for a possible fraud might also have the name Shanahan. But anyway, it's the thing is that McVay's a good coach. And I really enjoyed watching him fix the last couple of things that Matt Stafford needed fixing away from my division. Because I was always like nervous there it was going to happen there. But then the Lions got good anyway, because it was like the most amicable, good for both sides trade ever. So yeah, I like the Rams too. I'm not super disagreeing with you on any of those picks, to be totally honest with you. I guess, Mike, do you have any questions about their picks in this division? I don't have a ton of notes. I was pretty much right along with them.
Yeah. What did you have Seattle at? What was your final tally?
I see how we had Seattle 8.
I mean, I think that's a little high, just because we talked about this last week about the post Pete Carroll
Point
era,
differential.
But, I mean,
yeah, it's bad. Pete Carroll's good, and like they had like a minus 35 point differential on games that they won like more games than they lost, I think, last year, or like we're right thereabouts, like maybe just under 500. So it's like they scrape by in some games. You could see it, and like in the post Pete Carroll era. But I mean, they have them on a losing record, so they have 7 covered. I mean, I could see 6 for Seattle though.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're a little bit better than Arizona, which is why I had that such a drop off. We had that drop off with them being 5-12, and then Seattle winning 8. Once again, 7-10 is definitely in play. But once again, I'm high on Kenny Walker. Obviously, Locke has been there for a long time in that system. Geno Smith has been serviceable out there. Once again, we don't know where he's going to be going into this season, and obviously they still got baby Megatron and then DK Metcalf. So they still have guys that can make noise out there. Once again, I don't think they make the playoffs. So sorry to my homegirl Asia that listens to this, but she's a big Seahawks fan. But I don't think they make it. But like I said, they'll win some games they're not supposed to win. But ultimately, like I said, they're still going to be under 500 at season's end.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, under 500, it's just a matter of like where you're going to put them under 500. All right, boys. Well, the final division in the division prediction game. Before we get into our superlatives, I think Mike and Bobby are currently in the midst of a fantasy football draft as we go through these next couple. So I'll take the lead on this one here, just so Mike can concentrate, not getting fucking butt fucked on both sides in this one. I hope, Mike.
Don't you worry, DK. I can multitask. That's why I have a lazy eye. I can see both screens at the same time.
I've never noticed.
Same here.
Never noticed. It's you look great on camera. So here we are. We have the AFC West. I'm going to start off with the Chargers because I have a little bit of a controversial opinion here. I think that this is going to be the most changed. I guess it's not that controversial. I think this point is true. The most changed from last season on my tally. I'm giving them 10 wins. I think that it was the most diabolical coach team I've ever seen. I think that Harbaugh is really good. I think if your last name's Harbaugh, you're really good at coaching football. I think he's exactly what they needed. I think he was in a position to take whatever job he wanted, and he picked the best situation because the talent is obviously there. There's a conversation to be had about Justin Herbert if he's the guy or not still, but I think we can agree he hasn't been given a fair shake in that regard yet. Like as far as like what that offense would look like, the way that team was run, I don't think those guys should have NFL jobs ever again. I doubt they will. And I mean, here we are looking at a Chargers team going from 5-12 to I think possibly 10-7. I think that covers 9 wins, which 9 wins feels about right. And I think it covers 11 wins because I think that's their ceiling. So what do you think?
Yeah, I had them at 10-7 too.
Okay,
I think that if there's one person that can get the most out of Justin Herbert, it's going to be Harbaugh. We saw the work that he did, obviously, with Kaepernick back in San
Guy's a
Francisco.
quarterback whisperer, and I think Herbert has the talent. Yeah.
I also think that this is going to force Herbert to change his entire approach, right? Like they get rid of Austin Eckler, they get rid of Keenan Allen, so he's going to have to actually go to the young guys and develop new talent. I also
the
like
Austin
their
Eckler crutch being gone, I think, is actually a positive for him.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I also think, if healthy, J.K. Dobbins will supplement what Austin Eckler did before, and Gus Edwards there is going to be just fine. So I'm pretty high on the Chargers this year.
Cool. Moving down the list, I know that I did the big market tease with the Raiders, that I said they could possibly win 9 games, but I don't think that they're going to. I think they're going to win 4 games. I actually think they're going to win 3 games, but I don't think they're going to win 2 games. I think that they have the wheels are falling off on week 4 potential. Holy shit, what is going on in fucking Las Vegas right now? I can just feel it in the air. I like their running back that they drafted, whose name eludes me, but because he just looks, I read something about him and I liked him. I'm not an avid college football watcher. I think that's on record. I'll learn his name by the end of this year, I promise. I think he's on my fantasy team, but I just think that did everyone see the video in the offseason of what wide receiver was it that was like, I'm about to get fucking killed out here, I got to get the hell out of here?
Devontae Adams.
He was talking about fucking Jimmy throwing to him. And it's just like, all right, this is like, you hear noises like that coming out of the sideline of a certain team. I know that personnel shifting aside, Devontae Adams being very talented aside. I don't know. It looks messy over there. What do you think? Am I way off? Yeah. What do you have him at?
I like Brock Bowers. I like Devontae Adams. I think Gardner Minshew is going to be fine. I just think and I also like Antonio Pierce.
Gardner Minshew loves to win 6 games, 5,
which is
6
exactly
games.
what I have them at 6-11.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm happy to drop down because I do think that they could win 5. I don't think they're going to win 4.
All right. Well, we can sell on 5 because that covers us with 6. 6 feels like a nice number now that you've said it out loud. Let's go 6. Let's go 6 wins. Let's go 6 wins.
So you think 7's possible?
Yeah, because I'm looking at their schedule and I'm just thinking to myself, I guess I could find them. I guess I could find 7 because if we do it with Patriots logic, where I go there's a statistical somewhat likelihood that it could happen. No, 7's not going to happen. The question is again, do I like 4 or do I like 7? So that's how you pick.
Right.
I'll take 5 wins if you'll give it to me. Yeah, we can do that. We can do
5 and 12.
5 and 12 it is. All right, great. 10 and 7 for the Chargers, 5 and 12 for the Raiders. I'm bumping the Chiefs on skill position improvement, and the fact that they're the Super Bowl champs and Dow Patrick Mahomes again at your peril.
It's so unfair they got better. It's just unfair.
I mean, they couldn't have gone worse at wide receiver.
Right.
It's not. They kind of had. They didn't have a choice. They had to get better at wide receiver. So, that kid that they fucking drafted broke the 40 record. So, love that for them.
Yeah, that's fun for the rest of the NFL, isn't it?
Next Tyreek Hill incoming countdown. Yeah, I mean, I love that for them. I bumped them up to 13 and 4. I think they're the most likely team to get 13 wins, if that makes sense. 13 plus.
I also agree with you, but I don't think that they could get 14.
Yeah, I think they're the most likely team to get 14, though. And don't you think that someone's going to win 14, 15, 16 games this year? Don't you think someone's going to come in that range? And we haven't any other team that's going to win any more than 13 games. We have not even one team. So someone's going to in the AFC. Surely.
They are in this thing right now with what the Patriots used to do is that they typically they start 4 and 2. And then they go on their little run.
Yeah, but a lot of that is because they're given, fucking 5 primetime games in their first 6.
But if you think that the Raiders are better, the Chargers are better, and the Broncos are better, how are you giving them more wins?
That's true. That's a really good point. That is a really good point. I was looking at them in a vacuum. I like looking at because every single year that I am that anyone, Bobby, sorry to bring up past traumas, but
mostly Bobby
is it all down on them or him, and you know who him is, which is telling, about the Kansas City Chiefs. It's wrong every year, and I'm just I'm done. I'm I did this with the Patriots, and I was right. I was right up until 2018. Like I just stopped in about 2010. I was like, I'm just done betting against them. Like I'll be done betting against them in perpetuity while like the guys that make up the spine of that team are still there. And it turned out, and then I was like at halftime in the Atlanta Super Bowl being like, they're probably going to come back and win. And like they did, because I was just like, I was defeated, you know, and that's how I feel about the Kansas City Chiefs. And the earlier that you accept them as inevitable, I think the better, which I know is a little bit more meta, but my real main point is no one in our predictions has hit 13 fucking wins yet. We have not given anyone 13 wins. We've given 1, 2 12-win teams out. It's not enough. It's not enough for the conference that's way better. Yeah, that's true. 2 12-win teams.
Yes, it is. Because if everyone in the conference is way better, that means everyone's going to have harder games and less wins.
I know, but like the fucking Kansas City Chiefs are like going to win those divisional games.
Yeah, but
they're still going to win those divisional games.
So I think that they're going to win. I think that their ceiling's 13 wins. So that's why I'm 12.
Let's kick it to the NFC team because obviously we're at a stalemate here. I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on this.
So you want to say. Yeah, I mean, you can say
I'm high on the Chiefs. He's a little lower on the Chiefs. Where like, because I'm saying I want to give him. Basically, what I'm saying is I want to give him 13 wins, and Mike wants to give him 11.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm 12.
I think
12.
13 because
12's low for me. 13. I was already low at 13, to be honest. Sorry.
I mean, this team was last year. The biggest problem with the Chiefs was the wide receiver, and now they may have turned that into a strength. So it's like when you give me Pat Mahomes and a revamped wide receiver core and literally the same exact team besides
was Kelsey playing like a little hurt for most of the last regular season?
And they weren't using Kelsey as much. Yeah, I'm very high on the Chiefs this year.
All that Taylor Swift bullshit. Does that buy you one game back? All that Taylor Swift bullshit dying down? Does that buy you one game back? Did she cost them one game last year? I think she might have cost them one game.
It's not dying down.
It's not dying down.
Yeah, it is. As long as she's in the picture, they're going to be seen as much as the NFL wants to see because it's like
they love being on TV though. That team fucking loves being on TV. Yeah, like they're always on.
I get it, but
really, what we're saying, sorry to cut you off, right, is DK can see them at 14 wins.
Yeah,
and I can see them at 11.
Well, I'm leaning towards DK. I had them at 14-3. I think they're going to run through.
That's honestly what I think their record's going to be. That's genuinely what I think their record's going to be. So I'm trying to get 13 with the cost 13. That's what I'm trying to call.
The reason why I'm saying that, right? Because this team has been about, and we see once again, they're obviously the new dynasty. So we can't say anything otherwise.
That's already done. That conversation is over.
They're the new dynasty, right? So yeah, but there's people that's always trying to fight against that. But I'm like, listen, they are the new England Patriots. Like,
they sealed it with this last Super Bowl, in my opinion.
So yeah, exactly. So for them to be in position to do what no team has ever done and win 3 in a row, they're going to come out the gate swinging. They're going to come out the gate swinging
for the first time. But that would be Mike's argument. I would imagine is
sure. But I'm just like when they once again.
What do they have for? Who are they? Are they playing on? They're
playing Lamar.
The Ravens.
On Thursday.
Yeah, they're playing the Ravens on Thursday. That's going to answer a lot of questions that were.
Yeah, but once again, what does Mike said? Lamar don't show up. So. So they're gonna smack Baltimore on Thursday. We talked about that on the prediction show. Like they're gonna beat them. But it's just I'm just saying
I picked Baltimore against Kansas City.
Yeah, that's because you want some money. But I'm like you don't really believe it. You think that Kansas City is gonna smack them really? You just want to get some money.
No, I think Baltimore is gonna win.
Well, I would bet money on something I don't believe in.
I do that all the time.
Dude,
if you get good at gambling, you stop listening to yourself.
I'm too cheap for that.
That's listening to yourself is a terrible idea. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
But yeah, when
it comes to money, you got to be serious. You got to really look.
The only team in that division that gets a win against Kansas City is the Chargers. The Raiders or Denver would not beat them. The Chargers only team will get a win with them.
Split the Chargers, they win the other 4.
Yeah, Vegas or Denver would not get a win.
13-4, do it.
I don't know. I've leveraged myself. I feel like I gave you the Pats and I took a couple from the AFC North. I don't know.
13-4 still gives me my 12-5.
Okay, I'll take it.
Broncos.
Yes, you did tell me I thought the Broncos are going to be better. I do think the Broncos are going to be better. I like the idea of a quarterback like Bo Nix at Mile High Stadium. Does that make sense? Like that kind of guy
with Sean Payton.
Yeah. And with Sean Payton from the jump, how he does things, Sean Payton is a little old school. It's a little unorthodox. It clangs a little bit in the modern NFL, even the NFL with where like the culture is, I think. Sean Payton was the guy like paying people to go like take fucking scalps. So I do think he has a little bit of that sort of in him. Do I date myself by saying I kind of like that? Like there's a certain era about Sean Payton that I really enjoy. Him telling Russell Wilson to fucking pack his goddamn bags, I also sort of enjoy too, to be honest with you. He has a little bit of a he doesn't suffer people gladly. He's a little bit of a douche. Like I'll give you that. But like sometimes that level of coaching, that style of coaching works. I'll present you with the evidence of the fact that he is a champion. So like, I like him there. I like the draft pick. I don't think they're going to light the world on fire. All I said was they're going to go from 8-9 to 9-8. So they're just going to flip to a winning team by one game. But I'm happy to hear dissenting opinions on it.
I mean, I had them at 7-10.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about it then.
So
you think they're going to get worse than him having to come in and put the fucking...
No, I think everyone else is getting better.
Okay.
So I think, obviously, Bo Nix being there is from the jump is going to be good. I really like Sean Payton. I just think that the entire AFC West is a little bit better this year. I think that they're going to lose both to Kansas City. They're going to lose both to the Chargers, and they'll probably split with the Raiders. I still think I can be talked into going 8-9.
No, I was going to say I'll just come down one. I'll just come down 8-9, and we can split we can S the D on this one. We can split the difference. What do you think I meant? I'm happy to come down 8-9. They keep the same record as last year. I think they're going to be a little more interesting this year, though. I just by the sort of better nature of them having a rookie QB who's like a sort of an unknown entity. I mean, we talked the Chiefs to death, but guys, how do you feel about our end of the line predictions with the other three teams? Were we too high on the Chargers? Were we too hard on the Raiders? And were we too medium on the Broncos? Where are we on these?
I like the medium on the Broncos. This is one I do like because for me, I have no idea what to expect from this team, to be honest. No idea. It's the biggest question mark maybe in the NFL because you have a coach who doesn't lose. But a situation at quarterback that's that rookie quarterback. I don't think we've ever seen Peyton with a rookie quarterback either. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what kind of job he does bringing him up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had Chargers at 11-6, so I was high on them. But Vegas, I had Vegas at 7-10. Only because I think they're gonna play hard for Antonio Pierce, and they'll win some games they shouldn't win, right? So he's from out there. He has the buy-in of that locker room. That was evident last season too. And then I had Denver at 6-11. So I just think that, Bo Nix will have some good moments this year, but he'll have the typical growing pains of a rookie. Now, once again, Bo Nix is 31 years old, so he may come in and be a little bit better than some other rookies right away.
Bo Nix is, in fairness, 56 years old. Like that is, we're just going to have to contend with the fact that Bo Nix is 61 years old. It is a big deal, him being 73 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So, so I just, I just think that, he's going to have to find out pretty quickly if he has it or not. But, we're going to see if Bo knows or not.
No. Bobby, anything left to add on any of these fuckers? I mean, I don't know how much you got in on the Chiefs being fucking, I guess, a controversial subject. Like, what degree are they going to be good? But anything, it seems like you're off them. You're off the betting against them bandwagon. Yes.
Yeah, for now at least until they go 4-2 and we drop them off number 1 in the power rankings.
And,
but
in fact, in all that confusion, what did we end up agreeing to with the Chiefs, Mike?
13-4.
Okay, 13-4 sounds great. So that's the last of the divisions. This is a 2-hour show at this point, but we do still have to go through the superlatives. Apologies, I wasn't really thinking about time management today. Okay, we put the Chiefs at 13-4. We put the Raiders at 5-12. We put the Broncos at 8-9, and we put the Chargers at 10-7. Let's quickly go back and forth. There's 5 categories. Let me think about this for a second. All right, you guys pick your coach of the year, and then we'll pick our coach of the year, and then we'll pick our first coach fired, throw it back to you, and we'll just do it back and forth so that, it just ends up fair, and you guys can go first since we won the whole thing last year. So you pick your coach of the year, and then we'll jump back.
I'm gonna take the popular pick here.
Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. Yeah, Harbaugh.
Yep, I'm actually with you.
Yeah. When it comes down to
We're in down.
that
So, yeah.
first, they love giving that coach of the year to that first year head coach, first of all. And second of all, he has the best position, like you said, man. He's gonna come in and start winning immediately, and you're gonna see what a difference between a
Oh,
bad
so
coach
Jim,
to a
not
good
John,
coach
Jim
is.
Harbaugh.
Yeah, I meant Jim.
Yeah.
Jim.
Honestly, that's unfair. 2 J names, same last name. I do that shit all the time. I switch them up all the fucking time. I just call him Harbaugh because
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna
Jim
fuck
Harbaugh.
up.
When I heard first year, I'm like, oh, well, he's talking about Jim, not John. But yeah,
Fucking who
Yeah.
goddamn knows? I don't know. They even I mean, they played each other in a Super Bowl. Like they could do a Tia and Tamara prank where like one of them goes into like a classroom and it's like, are you the real one? So I don't blame you for that. I do.
Jim's taller.
Yeah, fair enough. I know they don't look Tia and Tamara alike, but you could fool somebody. Mike, can we have Eberflus? He's a Vegas odds-on favorite for Coach of the Year and a Vegas odds-on favorite for first coach fired. First time it's ever happened.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Eberflus.
I mean,
oh,
my pitch is that like if he
I don't need the pitch. I also watch Hard Knocks.
Great. Okay, I can't wait to watch that. I just think if he like
new
doesn't
episode
fuck-
tonight, right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
If people don't see that he's not fucking up Caleb Williams the way he's not fucking up Caleb Williams like so far the preseason, I think people are going to be
Yep.
very happy with him if that makes sense. So I'll take.
I wonder if that running back wide receiver is going to make the team.
I love
know.
Velus Jones. I fucking
Really?
he did.
Yeah.
No, he did make the 53-man roster
Did
for
make the 53?
the poor medical student. That poor son of a bitch.
That
Fuck.
shit was
Or his
heartbreaking.
ACL. That was brutal. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I was like, I turned around to Leah and I didn't know I was being such a dick. I was like, he's gonna make a great doctor. And Leah was like, oh, you're such an asshole. I was like, no, I meant it as a compliment.
They kept him on the team now. They kept him on the roster.
Well, I thought that was really nice of them to like. They did a lot of funky shit with the roster this year. We have our punter doesn't take up a spot. The Australian guy who is like the life of the fucking party. Okay, we will take our first coach fired as. Do you want to just take Mike over there in Dallas? Do you want to do
God
it?
damn it. I was going to do McCarthy myself.
Yes, I'm gonna go for the second year in a row. Mike McCarthy.
Okay, great. The AFC team takes Mike McCarthy, first coach fired. I mean, for obvious reasons.
But for us though, how you feel about Nick Sirianni, Bobby?
I love that. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nick-
I
I mean,
love
what
it.
do you- yeah, of course he loves that. Come on.
Get Nick Sirianni out of here. First coach fired. I love that.
All right.
I
That
mean,
was
all it would
very
take-
business-like.
All it would take is like a 2-4 start.
Yep.
Yeah, he's on the
So-
hot seat for sure.
Is that's Bill Belichick's music?
You guys get the rookie of the year pick.
I'm gonna throw you one here. I'm gonna go. I know Caleb Williams and all this. I think
Oh.
Xavier Worthy.
Mike, can
In
we have Caleb
Kansas.
Williams?
No,
I think Xavier Worthy in Kansas City is a good pick, personally. If we're not going quarterback, if we go quarterback, then it's obviously either Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. But if we want to throw a wrench into it, I think Xavier Worthy is a good pick.
Fine with that.
Great.
You
Oh.
go.
Very business-like these selections. We can't have Caleb, Mike. What do you want?
I was gonna pick. I had my heart set on Jaden because I figured that they were gonna pick Caleb Williams. But if you want Caleb, you can do.
I don't
we just
want to put my juju on him. Let's just take Jaden Daniels. To be
Jaden Daniels,
totally honest
please.
with you. That's totally fine. You're welcome to it. Offensive player of the year. Back to us. I'll take Tyreek if you're cool with it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It just seems obvious, right? Okay. Cool. Tyreek Hill for us. What do you guys got?
So this isn't MVP. This is just OPOI.
OPOI.
How you feel about CJ Stroud?
I like it.
Yeah,
Because if we're giving Mahomes an MVP, which we probably will.
yeah, most likely. Yeah, so I'm
Right.
going with Stroud. Yep.
All right.
Let's go with-
Well, we might give Mahomes MVP because the next category is defensive player of the year, which means you could pick again.
All right. Well, Myles Garrett or Micah? Are you want to
Yeah,
go
I wrote down Micah. I'm going with Parsons. Let's go with
All right,
Micah.
we're going Micah. I
Wow,
like
look
that.
at you guys. All right. He had a bad year last year, not for nothing, but
I know, but that way he's gonna come back and
bounce back here. Bounce back
He
here.
caught the problem down there, so
You're right.
He'll be fine.
you're
He's solved
right.
the problem.
Mike, pitch me a DPOI.
What's it be?
Do I just take
Myles
Myles
Garrett.
Garrett again? Because we got him
Yeah.
last year and when we won.
Right.
So
And we
yeah,
won.
there's no reason. I think he could go back to back.
Can I add another person possibly?
No.
And look, I'm not being serious. Jacoby Brissett would be defensive player of the year.
Wow.
So, wow.
What a dick. That means we get to pick MVP. I mean, these guys kind of alluded to it. I think the smart money's on Mahomes.
Yeah. I mean,
at this point, why the fuck would you pick against him? Or it's Lamar.
I was gonna say or Lamar, but
no,
they'll pick
it's
Lamar, and then
matching
we'll be head to head. So I'd rather have Mahomes in that conversation.
Yeah, let's
Just-
do.
again,
let's
I'm
do
just
Mahomes.
unbending against them. I'm just
yeah,
unbending.
that's
And we're
unanimous.
picking Lamar. Yeah, and we're picking Lamar.
Well, that's a good reminder for next year to know that the superlatives go pretty quick because you get to pick from anywhere, so everybody knows. But yeah, there you have it. Just a quick review. Oh, whoop! I wrote NFC. That's wrong. NFC picks Lamar. We pick Patrick Mahomes as MVP. Micah Parsons goes to the NFC team for Defensive Player of the Year. We got Myles Garrett and AFC. Tyreek is the AFC Offensive Player of the Year. CJ Stroud is NFC's call for the Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year, the NFC has Xavier Worthy. And over here on the AFC team, we have Jaden Daniels. Coach of the Year, the NFC team has Harbaugh, which is good money. And we have AFC. We over here at the AFC team have Eberflus because we're avid Hard Knocks watchers. First coach fired. Hate to end on a negative, but the AFC team, just to be dicks, took Mike McCarthy. And NFC, just to be shrewd, took Nick Sirianni. All right, everybody. That's it. We did the predictions again. Thanks for listening. We will be chatting about it throughout the year where we had everybody. Next year, we'll switch our conferences back. We're trying to knock Mike off the mantle. But until then, this has been Missing the Point.
Hi, it's me, Flo. Remember me from Ghost Hampton, the podcast? I was secretly in love with Lyle Hall. Well, now I'm dead and loving it. But let's talk about you. If you loved listening to Ghost Hampton, you can now spend the summer in the Hamptons. The original episodes are back, and now new episodes will be dropping every Friday. I may drop in too, just to make Lyle feel guilty. Ghost Hampton, the podcast, is now streaming everywhere.
Hi, everyone. I'm Geraldine Glass, a leader in the field of music as medicine, and I'm excited to share with you my newest release of healing sound, Pentatonic Visions, with Chris Scholler and Electrocast Records. Immerse yourself in ethereal realms where the harmonies of nature, tribal rhythms, and soundscapes blend with the crystal singing bowls. It's out now, streaming on all platforms.
Electrocast.